everybody, Drew with Drew's Roofing and Home Repair. And today we're in Virginia. It's a big one. Virginia. Sutherland, Virginia to be exact. This video is going to be some do's and some don'ts about mobile home roofing if you're not ready or cannot afford to have another roof put on your house. Okay, so this one has been walked on and walked on and walked on, and when it was walked on, nobody really knew where to step, so they didn't know where the rafters are, like we're marking them down through here. Nobody knew where they were, so they just kind of walked anywhere. It's been a long time since it's been cool sealed, actually too long. And they were having leaks in their bottom edges. And the reason why they were having leaks is because of it being walked on. So if you're gonna put cool seal on your mobile home trailer, don't let your guy walk on it because you'll make it worse. What you have on a mobile home is 3-foot panels to run up and across all the way down through this roof. These 3-foot panels have here what they call a seam, and them seams are folded over and lapped over each other and crimped together, and that's what makes the seam so that they can go on to the next piece, and they go over and over and over, 3 foot across, 3 foot across, crimping these seams right here. What happens is, if there's not a rafter underneath that seam right there and you step on it, like this one does not have a rafter, and you step on it, what it does is it wants to spread that seam. And then, not to mention, in that seam, because it's overlapped like it is, moisture is created. And what happens is the inside of that seam where you can't see it gets rusted. And the more it rusts, the more problem it's going to be. Especially if you come up and stand on that right there. So what's happening here are the seams have started coming apart, and what he's done at the bottom edges down here is make sure that they're not leaking, because this is where he had leaks where the seams were breaking. So all the seams were coming apart, so he had to caulk all the way down through them bottom edges because they were leaking. The reason why they're leaking is because the seam is literally coming apart, and you can see that with the gap. And there's a lot of gaps in this particular one. I noticed right on the front red off as soon as I got on the trailer, because he stepped on it, actually, the homeowner stepped on it, and I could see it separate. Right here, see that? See that line right there? That line right there is separating. And when that separates, you're gonna wanna have a roof on this thing like I do. Or before it separates, don't let anybody on your roof, and seal your bottoms wherever it may be leaking, and then cool seal this thing. It says 7 years on that can. Cool seal your roof every 2 years minimum, in my opinion, and keep it that way, or you'll end up on your roof with that stuff right there. See that broken? That's a broken seam. So that's why he's been caulking these outside edges. Yeah, they said they had a key to it. That truck? Anyway, leak. These pipes have a tendency to leak just because the caulking that is generally used on these things is not the best. So as soon as it starts peeling off like that, you have a leak inside the house. That's not good right there. Not good. So that's another problem. So That is the don'ts. Don't walk on the roof, or don't let your contractor walk on your roof, okay? That's the don'ts. If they're gonna do a cool seal, they need to do it off of a ladder from the bottom edge every 2 years, in my opinion, minimum. Or you're gonna be putting a roof on like what we're getting ready to do to this thing. Look at this. These are troubles that once they start, they never go away. That's a broken seam. You can tell they've been caulking it like crazy. It looks like they've been spraying that advertisement stuff you see on TV on it. But that's a broken seam. Okay? The seam should look like that. See that seam right there? That's what it should look like. And when they start breaking it, they look like that, and you can see that line. At this point, if you don't get your house cool sealed immediately, you're going to see drastic and major problems. Okay. See that? Broken seam. Look at that. He was so close to not having a roof on this house. So if your house looks like this has not been cool sealed in a long time. They did some repairs at the bottom edges because they had leaks, but they didn't get up here and do the whole thing. So after you repair your places like that, down through, if you have to on the bottoms, get you a ladder, set it up there, a 5-gallon bucket of cool seal, and roll this thing out with a paint roller, 9-inch paint roller, every 2 years. Okay, so that's my tip on mobile home roofing. If you're not going to get a roof put on like what we're doing, or a metal roof, whatever you decide to do, then on these ones, you can't put metal roofs on all mobile homes, but this one here you probably could get away with it. But that's just some of the things you do want to do and some of the things you don't want to do. So we're going to put a OSB sheeting on this entire roof and cover it with EPDM, Esther Patrick Mary Daniel. Excuse me. So we're getting ready to pop some lines on this thing. So we know where to lay our plywood, and we're going to continue just like what they got going on over there up here. See when we get there, guys.